Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a lovely time off and is looking forward to 2023. But before we look wide-eyed into the new year, I wanted to pull together what is essentially my top 10 films of the year, but I wanted to try and shine lights on multiple areas of film. So this is more 10 films I recommend in order. To no one's shock, it's a personal list, so you might disagree with it. It's also not necessarily a strict 10 down to 1 in order, but I feel this is a great time to talk about films I've loved this year and why others should give them a go. I don't know, I might change the structure of this halfway, who knows. I've done full reviews for a lot of these on the list, but there will be some that I just didn't get around to doing. Links to the ones that I have done will be in the description of this video. But chit chat aside, let's jump right in. Wanting to keep one place aside, especially for a family film, number 10 on my list goes to Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. What on surface level might look like a generic Disney adventure is instead a very meta take on the animation genre, featuring material which had me laughing on many occasions. Main voices by Andy Samberg and John Mulaney, we're thrown into this mystery involving characters not only from Disney, from what you'd expect, but we're given some mad cameos and characters from all arrays of animation, each comedically blended together. It's one that I think can be enjoyed by the whole family and is one to definitely check out. Number 9 on the list goes out to horror fans, and unfortunately whilst I've not seen Smile, which seems to be creepy as and one to definitely look out for, there was another one which gripped me with some great cinematography and likeable characters, and that's Jordan Peele's third ever directed film, Nope. Not so much focused on the visual scares or jump scares, but a film dipping its toes into the supernatural horror but coupling it with some great scenic moments. Similar to Jordan Peele's other films, it's great to see main characters which make clever and relatable decisions that forward the story in the right ways. It's also not afraid to mix in the right sort of humour in at times as well, and definitely brought me one of the more memorable openings in film this year, even if its relevance to the story is debatable. Number 8 moves us away from horror and more into thriller and action. A prequel I honestly wasn't expecting much of, however left a really great impression on me, and that was Prey. The latest additions to the Predator franchise honestly hadn't been that great, and here, Prey goes back to its roots, out in the wilderness. Amber Midthunder was excellent in the lead role, and the film was intense from start to finish. Fans of the franchise have probably seen this already, but even if you've never seen a Predator movie, this is still a great choice. 7th on the list caters to superhero fans out there, and it's one that I felt was the most original in its presentation and feel, which is why it stuck with me the most. The Batman takes 7th spot this year. We've not been short of Batman films, that's for sure, and each one has brought their own thing to the table. Say what you will, but I'm a Batflick fan. There was a lot for Robert Pattinson to live up to, and director Matt Reeves made a great choice to turn the film into this detective LA noir style Batman film, which worked great. Whilst Pattinson could do with a few more improvements to the Bruce Wayne side of things, I loved seeing this crime-solving Batman in action and can't wait for the sequel. Rounding up the first half of this list is a financial giant from this year, Top Gun Maverick. An incredible flex in real-life stunts, making every flight scene intense and jaw-dropping to watch. I wouldn't have had many expectations going into this if it was not for Tom Cruise's perpetual need to try killing himself by doing all of his own stunts. But this met expectations and went beyond to give something exhilarating but also emotional at times too. The best mix of 80s and modern day out there. On to the back half, and I thought I'd put one in here for anime fans as well. Between the two that I wanted to talk about, one personally stuck with me a little bit more as it was just such a great blend between nostalgia and new animation techniques, and that was Dragon Ball Super Superhero. A real blast from the past for me revisiting this franchise and seeing it tremendously transformed into the modern world with fluid 3D animation. It just made it super fun to watch, pun intended. It was light-hearted and funny, but also did so well to make the signature Dragon Ball fights feel even more intense and fast-paced. This is definitely one to check out if you've ever enjoyed anything Dragon Ball related before. The next 3 are easily interchangeable in positions, but for number 4, we're dedicating this one to all the murder mystery fans out there, and to how Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery did such a great job of having fun with the genre and giving us a very different experience. A brilliant blend of humour and gaslighting to make us think the obvious might not be true, only for us to be unravelled along with the hidden details of the film, and to be taken along for a really entertaining ride. The second in the trilogy so far, and they've both been great. I'm very excited to see what's next. First one onto our top 3 pedestal is a film that is so much more than just an action kung fu movie. No, Everything Everywhere All at Once brings a mind-blowing story and concept of multiple universes into a wholesome, relatable story about mother and child. This was just something Doctor Strange only could have dreamt to have achieved when this film incorporates engaging conversations between inanimate objects, people with hot dog fingers, and 100 other inventive scenarios. Don't let the story intimidate you at first, because this film will then take you on one of the wildest, high-energy rides you'd have seen this year, and then might make you ponder what the meaning of life is. Number 2 might be so high on this list because it's just so fresh in my mind, but god damn, with visuals like that, it will always stay somewhere in my mind. Avatar: The Way of Water is a sequel which I felt lived up to the hype and reminded us of why some movies have just got to be seen on the big screen. Not only does James Cameron improve in the story, but also somehow improves on the visual effects as well, giving us essentially 2 films in one, an action family movie and a nature documentary, and both were just great. And the number 1 on my list this year is here purely because I just don't think a film made me laugh as much as this one did on first viewing. Bullet Train to me was an absolutely insane, funny action movie coupled with some really great neon Tokyo vibes to give us a unique cinematography and quirky storytelling. Brad Pitt's comedic timing is rock solid, and I was genuinely surprised this film wasn't better received to the larger audience. I can't imagine this being a number 1 on many people's top 10 lists, but I'm happy to stand my ground here and say that this was an action flick well worth a watch. So that's it for another year, guys. Thanks for all the love and support you guys have given me over my time on this channel. It's been great to see the growth that's happened, as well as seeing the amount of feedback I've had from listeners as well. Let me know your thoughts on my top 10 list and what your list might look like as well. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime, and video games in 2023. And until next time, guys, Happy New Year and take care. Bye bye.